fresh edition of Fresh Take. Sorry about the delay. Things happen every now and then. It's life. Whatever. I am Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, man, myth, legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing today? How you feeling? I know you're without your hood today.
It's finally decently warm in here. Too bad this weather's not going to last long. But,
True.
Paul, I'm doing well. It's a historically good day today. 2/22/22.
The deuces do be wild.
And you're ending that historic day with a historic podcast. On a day like this, I think of Andrew McCutcheon. I'm sure you think of Derek Jeter.
No. Think of the Blue Deuce. I think of the Blue Deuce. I think, Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Dale Earnhardt.
Yes.
Austin Cindric.
Yeah. Wait, he's number 2?
Yeah.
Really?
Alluding to one of the topics. But first, we'll discuss college hoops, then do our Daytona recap, and then we have movement, sort of, in the baseball front, so we'll discuss that a little bit. But anyway.
Don't get your hopes up.
No, still I'm not, no.
Expecting some big news at the end of this show.
Yeah, sectionals in full swing.
Yeah, today was the start.
Were you anywhere today?
I was not anywhere today. I will be at Waterloo Geneva Boys tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, Wayne Fairlakes did pretty well today, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we were over in Skinny Atlas for hockey. They're moving on to the final in Division 2 for Section 3 over there Monday night. So hopefully we'll be back over there for that. And it's been fun. Hockey's been really fun so far. But it's the best time of year. Basketball, I see sectionals here. It's a lot of fun. We'll be everywhere. Anywhere. Not everywhere. Let's within reason.
No Blue Cross, though.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It seemed like it was a late-ish type. Because they did have Blue Cross up there on the section website for a little bit. So
disappointing.
Yeah. So they'll be kind of everywhere. I think Class A is at... I had it written down earlier. I know Class D is at Letchworth. Grand Canyon of the East. So,
hey, here's a good transition. I got you on this transition.
Sure.
I'm not going to the Blue Cross Arena, but I am going to the Carrier Dome.
Nice.
I put in my credentials today for
Nice.
Hobart Lacrosse at Syracuse. I'll be there.
Nice. When do they play again?
What?
When do they play?
Sunday, March 6th.
Okay.
The Sunday after the sectional finals. So I will be at the Carrier Dome.
Nice. Not what you probably were expecting to cover that day, but
as you
given sectional weekend.
And so I will be at the Carrier Dome.
You're not doing a great transition of it because Syracuse hoops. I'm not on that narcotic this year. I'm not on that narcotic. I stay away from that narcotic this year.
Hey, they went out. They're in.
Yeah, I'm not convinced of that.
The same with Georgetown.
Yeah, they both need the conference tournament. Yeah, college basketball, we're in the home stretch regular season wise. Conference tournaments start 2 weeks from this past weekend not really. It's 2 weeks from like today.
Yeah, it is 2 weeks. Actually, next week is a week from today.
Well, a week from today is what, the mid-majors?
Yes, they start.
Yeah, because Q still has regular season games next week.
Yes.
We have, college basketball's kind of flown by this year. It's admittedly been a tough gauge at the top. Still, I think, I think I'm still leaning kind of like Gonzaga side type of deals, but you have a couple interesting players. Kind of I'll call resurfacing at the moment. Arizona, who's been down the past really 5 seasons, they're coming back. So for the sake of me, I always look at Ken Pom. It's what I base pretty much like betting on for me, and like looking at who's actually good and who's not. The adjusted stuff that they do and he does, I kind of trust that more than other stuff. So it's been interesting kind of seeing the climb and descent of some of the teams we thought. For instance, like Iowa State, top 10 team to start the year, fallen off. I think they're back above 500, I believe. but well buried in the rankings. But KenPom, they're still like the 27th best team in KenPom. So it's been interesting, stuff like that. But going back to Arizona, right, I mean, they've really kind of risen to the top here almost in a weird way. That being said, I don't trust them. I'd still think I'd rather roll Gonzaga in this situation. But again, it's been an interesting year. I mean, I think you've seen a lot more of the blue bloods kind of be where we expected most of them to be. I think this year, the way the COVID year last year went, this year with COVID impacts, it's kind of thrown a bit of a wrench into the usual college basketball cycles, if you will. Because look, I mean, we're seeing some teams that I don't fully trust. Like I said, I don't trust any of the Pac-12 teams. Pac-12 at one point had a really weird COVID stretch where like there was only like I think four or six teams playing at one point. Like it was just, it was strange to say the least.
Pac-12 is interesting because you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
Because are we going to get the Pac-12
right.
that we've seen for the last 10 years? Or are we going to get the Pac-12 that we saw in the tournament last year that made a bunch of runs and they didn't lose a team until the Sweet 16 and had UCLA all the way in the Final Four. So I think that's intriguing.
I mean, UCLA is a team that has kind of floundered at times so far this year. Kind of back on an upswing, but they don't really pass the eye test well. They have a borderline a plus 25 adjusted rating in KenPom. They're still a top 10 team according to KenPom.
There's a lot of good teams.
I don't necessarily disagree. I don't think that they're not a top 10 team, but they don't pass the eye test. I know like a lot of people will have asked me now, how do you not trust UNC? I'm like, UNC is the most inconsistent team in the country. Like they just are. I think they're in right now. I think they're like, depending upon who you look at, they're like one of the last four something. Or
yeah, it's not good.
Either way, I still think that they're in. ACC, for as bad as we think the ACC has been this year, they're going to get probably 5 or 6 teams in.
I think so too.
Obviously, Duke, Wake, Notre Dame, Miami, UNC again kind of teeters a little bit.
And then there's Virginia Tech and Virginia.
Tech and I was about to say they're they're there. I don't know what Florida State's deal is going to be. I don't know what Louisville's deal is going to be. Obviously, you brought up Syracuse. Syracuse will have to win out, like including the tournament, including the conference tournament.
I'll say right now about Syracuse basketball. Mm-hmm. The only thing going for Syracuse basketball, they win the tournament. Obviously, they're in, but this is a Syracuse program that's been in the ACC since 2013-14 that hasn't had a lot of success in the ACC tournament. I don't remember them. I don't recall them ever making a run in the ACC tournament.
I don't remember ever seeing them in Saturday action.
No.
Barely. So, I don't think they've been Friday. Yeah, they've had to have been some
maybe
Fridays.
Once. They got in that 8-9 a few years in a row, and they lost in that 8-9 game a lot. So, but the deal with them is they have a favorable schedule to help their resume. And what I mean by that is they play at Notre Dame tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Then they got the big game against Duke this Saturday. Yep. Then they're at North Carolina Monday. Big Monday.
Yep. And then home against Miami.
Home against Miami. 4 of the top 6, top 7 teams in the conference.
Right.
So if they won all 4, obviously that would really help the resume, and then maybe they would only need a couple, maybe a semifinals appearance in the ACC tournament instead of having to win it. But there's a good shot they could lose all 4 of these games. That's the only problem with this. It's like,
I mean, they're going to need their best performances of the year, the next 4 games.
As a Notre Dame fan, I'm very excited for Notre Dame going in tomorrow because of the fact that Syracuse just played 2 days ago, yesterday, and they're also thinking about the big game against Duke this Saturday. There's a lot going in Notre Dame's favor tomorrow against Syracuse, but that's why they play the game. But it's a good schedule if you're a Syracuse fan to be optimistic, but it's going to be a tough stretch. I think 2-2 would be nice to say, but I don't know. I'm thinking
you're being very optimistic compared to me. Who
I've
been off that narcotic this year.
I'll say it's going to be tough for them to win these next two. That's for sure. It's just in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Notre Dame, you brought up, obviously you're fighting Irish. They're an interesting team. So they're a team that I think on paper you would assume is very defensive, but they're actually a very good offensive team. They're pretty efficient on offense. Defense is actually where they probably, if anything, need to really step up when they need to. But go look for some things out of the fire. They definitely give me some second weekend vibes in the tournament.
Yeah, I hope they get.
It's tough for them because as good as they are on offense, they don't have that one that's true like shooter you can kind of turn to. It's almost like you're the ones who probably would need a Buddy Boeheim / Joe Girard, and we need more of your preferred big men, to be honest with you. Would you like to trade?
Well, we don't have too many big men anymore. I mean,
you have that one
currently, I should say.
You have that one big guy.
You think Leszewski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take him.
Our center,
I'll give you Joe Girard.
Our center right now is...
I'll give you Joe Girard plus ribs from Dinosaur Barbecue.
Ooh, that's a fair deal. Our center right now is Paul Atkinson, who was the ACC player of the year, and the only guy that has NCAA tournament experience on our team. He wasn't ACC player. He was Ivy League player of the year for Yale. And he's the only guy that has NCAA tournament experience. But
now we do have an upset. I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have breaking news. UConn did upset Villanova just now.
Ooh, see, I was going to get into Villanova a little bit because they're an interesting team.
Well, UConn's an interesting team too because they peaked early and now have fallen off, and now it seems like they're trying to peak again. So,
well, the problem with the Big East is just how good is the Big East every year. You just wonder. It's like Villanova always seems to dominate in that conference.
They're still my favorite conference. Damn it.
Yeah,
or second favorite.
It's just how good is the conference? Is the conference good? Like how good is Providence? Providence has this great record, but are they playing easy schedule? That's what tournament is all about.
Big East has kind of started beating up on each other again, which is kind of nice to see in a weird way.
Seton Hall's been inconsistent.
I'm about to say, like I remember watching Seton Hall DePaul this weekend. That was a nice drag out, like classic Big East game. Providence and Butler 2 weekends ago now, I think it was a nice classic old school Big East game, even though Butler was not part of the original Big East. But they've been fun to kind of watch, and I don't know. Like you said, are we at a spot where anybody stands out at this point still? Because this is why I kind of led with it. I'm struggling still to kind of pick out a team.
Well,
that's why I'm saying, I guess I'm leaning Gonzaga again. I mean, you can say what you want. The WCC is up this year. They're probably at the beginning of the season when it really looked grim, they'll probably get 5 teams. Now it's looking like they'll get for sure 2, maybe a third. But overall, all the teams splits efficiency-wise are up compared to last year for the most part. I think there's only a couple that are down. But, I mean, the conference overall is fairly up and looking up compared to what it usually is. Which I guess is too why I kind of lean I maybe Kentucky's for real too. I think the SEC is better than what we all kind of thought.
I think the SEC is the best.
Obviously, I say Kentucky, but Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee's kind of been a weird This Tennessee team is giving me classic Tennessee team vibes where they'll make the tournament but get upset Thursday night.
Always a favorable upset.
Right, right. It's weird, a couple, even Vanderbilt's kind of on a weird streak right now where they're playing at least very competitive at minimum every game. The only team that sticks out to me that's just absolute awful night in, night out has been Georgia.
Who gave Auburn a game.
Right, and that's the thing. So they're strange. It's a strange year, right? Because again, we talk about the ACC, and the ACC, like we said, we're looking at probably about 5 or 6 teams out of the ACC, depending upon what happens, which is, I think, probably one below the average of what they usually get. But I don't trust any of the ACC teams. I just don't. I don't trust Duke. Duke has not given me the flashes at all year. Sure, maybe is there a little bit of bias there to a degree? Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie. But seriously, Duke has done nothing all year that makes me go, yeah, them.
Paul, here's what I'm going to say.
Right.
I don't trust anyone, not just the ACC. I don't trust anyone. So,
But that's what I'm getting at, though. Like, it's hard to pick somebody to stand out this year because nobody has stood out.
I know in 3 weeks from around this time we're going to be filling out brackets, and it's going to be nuts. But I think it's getting harder and harder every year now to fill out this bracket. This bracket this year to fill out is going to be impossible.
So we do have a question. Shout out Nate Sharman. Who would we pick as an NCAA future right now to win the tourney if we had to? I think there's value to be had in a lot of spots.
Wait, what was the question?
If we had to take a NCAA future right now, who would it be to win the tournament? There's value to be had in a lot of spots, first and foremost. I don't know. I know a sexy pick that I've seen kind of pop up recently has been Illinois again. I don't know.
I like Illinois. No problem with Illinois. They're Big Ten.
Right.
I would never put any money on Big Ten to win the national championship.
Gonzaga. They're not sexy enough, though. There's very little value there. Juwan Howard's hands, maybe. Yeah,
Do you want money?
I know what Nate's trying to do, so I'll answer it. Yes, Nate, go ahead and put some money on Purdue.
Oh, he's a Purdue guy.
He's a Cuse fan, but he likes Purdue Pete. I don't know. The mascot Purdue Pete gives me nightmares.
Purdue is the best team in the Big Ten, no doubt about it.
Ooh.
I think they are right now.
Ooh.
This year. They just,
no love for the Cats of Northwestern.
They've been the best team, I think, all year. But the problem with the Big Ten, 2000 Michigan State was the last time they won a national championship. So I mean, it's been a long time. But you want some value with a pick? I would say maybe UCLA or Villanova.
I'd say probably that those are two smart ones because UCLA is trending. Villanova's at least competitive every year. Part of me really wants to know kind of where Arkansas falls. I don't know if they'll win outright, but Arkansas gives me a nice deep run vibe.
I'm pretty biased. I think Notre Dame's got the talent.
No, I agree. They
have a star player.
Like I said, they're for sure a second weekend team at minimum. I don't know, but I mean, look, I mean they are. I don't mean to make this sound like in a bad way, but they're an old team compared to some of these others, and that's usually where in the tournament, right? These teams kind of have their differences that make a difference. Is the more experience on a team, the better in the tournament, the deeper you go. I mean, I don't hate. I'll put it that way. I don't hate it. I do not hate it. In fact, you want to know what Paul Russo seal of approval?
Is they just have this freshman on their team from South Bend. He's the first guy.
Hometown kid.
Yeah, he's the first guy in like the 60s.
Wait, hold on. Did he go to Holy Cross first?
No.
Oh. Or whatever the other school is right there in South Bend.
There's another school?
You know what I'm talking? Oh, so you don't subscribe to Rudy. Good man.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But
Rudy.
But Blake Wesley, man, he's a talented player. And I think he's gonna use the platform of the NCAA tournament, and he's gonna come on the scene and help his NBA stock. And I don't know. I know I'm biased, but if they get in 7 seed, 10 seed, somewhere around there, I think they got a chance to make a run. Elite 8.
I will say this: I don't think these are smart picks.
Depends on the draw.
I don't think they're value picks either here. But they're teams to kind of keep an eye on, to me, down the stretch here, the final couple weeks. And then obviously once you get in, I guess, the tournament. Of course, a couple of these teams are still on the bubble, even though they might be ranked high and stuff like KenPom, right? So that's why I'm saying, keep an eye on that. I kind of feel like we kind of say their name every other year as a mid-major, if not every year. Murray State's very good again this year. Obviously, they probably aren't going to win the tournament, but they're certainly a team to watch when, like you said, if you're building a bracket or just picking games straight out to bet. Murray State, very good team. They're coming again out of the Ohio Valley, which this year's been an interesting year for the Ohio Valley. They're kind of caught in the conference shuffle. So there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes with the conference that it shouldn't affect the teams, but it kind of has, I've noticed. Some of the basketball teams are going to be on the move, are struggling, which is interesting. I'm not trying to claim bias one way or another, but another Ohio Valley team that I think on the bubble, but who knows, Belmont as well. Say they're, again, another team we say pretty much every year to every other year at this point as well. Well, if I were to tell you the best A10 team currently in KenPom is Dayton. Dayton's come on pretty strong again here.
See, Bonaventure's kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, Bonaventure's been a disappointment. Obviously, in the betting sense, we can't bet them in New York, but Dayton's come on fairly strong as A10 actually has kind of been disappointing all year, admittedly. They were at one point a team, a conference member that I thought could really rock the boat as a mid-major this year because I thought the top half of that league was very good. Mm-hmm. Now it's looking like probably 2 or 3 teams for them, if that.
The conference, it used to be great.
Yeah, I mean, it still is a great. I think it's just they beat up on each other the past 2 years.
That, what was it, Power 5 or Power? Whatever. I used to think of that as like the next conference after.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they are. I mean, I think, like I've said, I think the past couple of years they've done so much beating up on each other because of COVID and how the A10. I mean, it's a very competitive conference. It just is.
I want to get your thoughts on the Big Ten. Are you
Big Ten?
Believing in them? I know they got a lot of good teams.
I don't know. I don't trust Purdue enough. The times I've trusted Illinois this year, they have not came through.
A lot of inconsistency.
They're another team that they're a league that's looking at what. I mean, because they're a Power 5, they'll get for sure 4 in. I'd imagine.
Big Ten, they're thinking 9.
There's no 9.
Joe Lenardi, I think, had 9 of them.
I mean, I don't know. Admittedly, the Big Ten.
But he also had Michigan in at the time. Michigan's been.
Yeah, Michigan. The past week and a half for Michigan, let alone what's gone on, which is a different discussion.
They've had
but it's been a rough week and a half, 2 weeks for them. It's been a rough stretch.
Well, they got like Wisconsin's up there of the world.
I don't know. Any other teams that kind of stick out to you maybe at this point is not, like I said, not standouts, but maybe poke their heads out and kind of see what happens.
I mean, I watch a lot of ACC basketball, which a lot of people say is bad, but I think the conference is not as bad as people think. But I think with the veteran leadership,
I don't think the ACC is that bad this year, but it's definitely down compared to
the veteran leadership of Miami could be good.
Yeah.
I think they could be a sleeper team.
I did hop on their value when they were really kind of the lovers pick there for a solid week.
And I hate to be this guy. This might be a hot take to some. Usually you see a big upset in the tournament, right?
Right.
The way they've been skating by, they just been barely winning, scares me a little bit. I think Auburn could be a big first round exit.
Huh.
They've won like the Georgia game I brought up. They barely won that. They've won a lot of close games.
I lost this past weekend.
I will never pick them because they'll probably be a 1 or a 2 seed to lose in my bracket. But I think they could be the big upset this year. If you have to go recall a time back in, I think, long time ago, 2012 or something like that. Missouri was a number 2 seed out of the SEC, and they got beat by the 15th seeded Norfolk State, Kyle Quinn's team. So we've seen this upsets happen in the SEC. So I would put even though the bracket's not out and the regular season's not even finished, I'm putting Auburn on upset alert already.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I agree with that. Fair enough. All right.
This season's been like a circle, man.
I see what you did there. Speaking of circles,
the
Daytona 500 was this past Sunday. Won by Austin Cendric, rookie driver for Team Penske. Took over Brad Keselowski, who caused 2 wrecks on Sunday, at minimum 2 wrecks. takes the victory. First career win of the Cup
How'd
Series.
Bubba not make the bottom line?
Oh, God, don't get me started. Oh, I finally got over it. I was in Spain, but the S was silent.
Yeah, that was good.
It was a fun 500. Fun 500 with the new car. Action was great. Was it historical? Nah. It probably doesn't even rank top 5 all time. Might not even rank top 10 all time. But it was an enjoyable race, a good race. All you could ask for, a lot of action, a lot of different strategies. Kind of came back to the mean for everybody there for a little bit. But just a tremendous race. You mentioned Bubba, yeah, heartbreak there at the end for me a little bit. It's fun being mad over second place again.
He's second in the standings.
So, yeah, he is. He is second in the standings right now, which is actually no, he's technically third in the standings
Because of stage points.
Yep. So, yeah, but good start for you there, and yeah, they're off to California in the West Coast swing this week, but yeah, it was chaos. I mean, Brad Keselowski, who normally is a really good and really smart plate racer, kind of had to revert back to his 2014 days as a plate racer where he was causing wrecks and trying to do things that just I was left questioning. And, yeah, he caused really two big ones. Of all people, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was calling him out, which is hilarious and ironic, but very true and very accurate in my opinion, and justified. There are a couple late race restarts there where the one before Ricky got wrecked. I don't know why he didn't try and break up the Penske duo that was on the bottom lane, but with Cindric and Ryan Blaney. I struggle with this fact of Blaney playing the good teammate role. I hate it. I really wish Bubba just more or less plowed through him at that point on the restart where Blaney let Cindric drop down with 2 to go in overtime. It's, oh, gosh, that part's just tough. Either way, that's just the nature of the beast, and it's fair to be mad as a fan. That's just the way it is. But it was a good one. I mean, the crowd was electric. That's the most people I think I've seen at Daytona since even before the pandemic in quite some time. It was a fun race, fun atmosphere. Luke Combs was great. Energy was palpable. Just excellent. A1 plus stuff in my mind. Hopefully that's the sign of the season to come.
How about my man Austin Hill the night before?
Well, that was the Xfinity race I was able to catch some of. Really was able to catch all of it, whether it was just being able to listen to it on the radio or catch it on the TV. But yeah, I mean, Austin Hill is actually a really good plate racer from the Truck Series. Very good. Right place, right time, especially with that wreck. And good to see Myatt Snyder was okay after that wreck. The worst wreck I think I've seen, at least damage-wise, in a while. Certainly, I think damage-wise, Brian Newman's wreck wasn't even that bad. I mean, that thing had the engine ripped out, both axles. I mean, everything was just torn away. Even Kyle Larson's wreck in 2013 wasn't that bad. Just crazy. So good to see he was okay. Good to see everybody was really okay. I know Snyder's cleared the race this weekend in Fontana. So, yeah, and the truck race was good too. I mean, the ARCA race was all right, but it's ARCA. So shout out to Buffalo's own Andy Janowek. Came home in 5th with a damaged car, so not bad. Were you able to watch anything of it over the weekend at all?
I wanted to watch Daytona 500, but I was a little busy on Sunday, so I never got a chance to watch it. But I was checking in and seeing who was winning, and yeah, it kind of surprised me. It must have came out of nowhere. Bubba coming in second, because last I was watching, he was in like 16th place, but yeah, he came close and.
He had a strong car.
Was it close?
Yeah, strong car the second.
Did he have a shot in the final lap?
Yeah, things fell right, yeah. But things didn't fall right.
It's a great start to the season. Just like Danica Patrick's 8th place start that one year in the Daytona 500. But, no, but, it's amazing how they have their biggest race of the year in the first race of the season. I always thought that was interesting. Their Super Bowl is opening day, which is kind of cool. But yeah, speaking of opening day, no, I'm just kidding.
Whoa. Well, I mean, you're not, I guess, totally off, to be fair.
Do you think Austin Cindric will win another race this year?
Yeah, probably. He might be the best road course racer in NASCAR. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of
Watkins?
fans of just Cup racing will say Chase Elliott. Trust me, Austin Cindric is by far the best.
He's going to win Watkins this year?
I would put him up there as the favorite.
Make the February prediction right now?
I'd put him up there as the favorite. So, somebody going buying a lawnmower? What is? There's always something.
It's that warm weather, man. Time to get the lawn.
People are getting hyped, I guess. I don't know. We're about to get hit by another snowstorm. I don't know what these people are doing.
I think it's either a motorcycle or a moped.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, Austin Cindric's really good on the road courses. He'll win again this year. And he's adapted. He's had a really... It's been fun watching his career arc to this point because he was a guy at Dover when he first got into oval racing because he had an open wheel and sport car background as a young kid. I mean, his dad's the president of Team Penske, who was like 5 seconds off the pace at Dover in at the time, Brad Keselowski racing truck, which was one of the top 2 teams in truck racing at the time, and was like 5 seconds off the pace. It's just like, this kid has no business being out there. And seeing him progress, I mean, he's Xfinity Series champion. He's won at Daytona before in the Xfinity Series.
Didn't you pick Bubba to win the 500 last week?
I did. I did. I selfishly did take Bubba, and it almost did work out. But alas, who'd you take? I can't remember. Austin Dillon.
I took Denny Hamlin. I'm pretty sure.
He was out in the first wreck because of the Brad Keselowski wreck. Part 1.
Yep.
All right, last topic. Speaking of Florida.
Yeah, there you go.
I got you, Nick.
They met 2 days in a row. How about that?
They're meeting all week, allegedly, here. Players Union and MLB in Jupiter, home of the Cardinals spring training facility and Marlins facility as well, I believe. Neither here nor there since spring training is delayed. The main goal of really the talks this week is to avoid the postponements at this point. That's what I'm calling it. Spring training's already gotten pushed back.
Obviously.
I mean, I still think opening day at minimum is going to be pushed back. There was video of a player, I believe it was Max Scherzer, who left the meetings today at one of the breaks, kind of talking with his hands very much, and it was not pleasant hand motions, I'd say.
Really?
I don't know what's going to happen here still. I don't think it's looking great still. I did see one positive is the MLB has gotten rid of the minor league cuts for players, which is a good thing to see. Now we just need to work on improving the conditions still. But either way, different discussion. Yeah, I don't know. They've only been meeting in like the afternoons from like 1 to like 5 with a break somewhere in the middle so far the past couple days. I don't know if this... They're going to go all week, I guess. I don't know what it's going to really do. I know there's like a group of, I think, about 30 or 40 players there in addition to the union guys and the lawyers, and then obviously the MLB's side. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but you know what Rob Manfred's been up to the past month?
No.
He's been playing at Green Beret.
What's that?
He's playing at Green Beret, or however you pronounce it, the golf course.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You mean to tell me that guy has the best intentions of baseball in mind?
No.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about this? About the week of meetings, as I'll call it, because I still, it feels like the MLB is trying to rush it, which of course they are, because now they realize that money's on the line. The players are more.
It's March next week,
and the players are more than content on abiding to their lockout that they imposed, as opposed to what everybody else has been trying to say about it.
Well, I'll say what I said last time. I don't care. Just
good luck.
Just let me know when it's over. That meeting all week means nothing to me. I mean, what are they doing in there? Playing patty cake? I mean,
I want to know when the last time somebody used the term patty cake was.
Yeah. I mean, either side has their own opinions. It's like getting two people to agree on something.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Like, you're just not going to get both sides happy. And It's just like time is ticking now. You got a commissioner that doesn't care. You got players that do care, but they want their way. But the commissioner wants to please the owners, and they want their way. And it's just a complete mess. And the whole sports legacy is on the line here. It would just not look good, Paul, if they just didn't play till like July, and they were still like meeting in June.
Well, this is what I've kind of harped on is like, think about like the past year was the biggest year baseball's had in a while. Think about the names that have been made, and look, I mean, for better or worse, Stephen A's dumb comments about Shohei Ohtani was one of the biggest things that happened to baseball, because all of a sudden got more eyes on the sport. Let alone what was already happened. I mean, you got players' own kids liking other players above their own fathers.
You know where baseball screwed up in the last few years?
Oh, yes.
They screwed up and not started that season on July 4th, the COVID year.
Oh, the pandemic year, yeah.
Because
that's where this started, though, because the owners did not want to do what the players wanted to do.
they could have started July 4th. Mm-hmm. Instead, they waited to the end of July when the NBA came back and the NHL came back. You could have had 3 weeks there.
There's data that shows that's what's actually rebounded NASCAR in the ratings.
Yeah, because
coming back first.
Because they're a good example. Because they came back first along with UFC. But
UFC wasn't doing it the way NASCAR and the other sports were, which were safe and smart ways.
And then golf came back as well. But they had 3 weeks there to be the only professional sport. And I know the summertime they have it, but this was I know that
I know what you're saying. Though. It's the only thing.
This would have been a weird era where there was no sports for a long time, so people were dying for any sports at that time. They could have had 3 weeks there to show off their sport, and could have, like you said, it's helping NASCAR from what they did it at that time. And
seriously though, I mean, think about like KBO all of a sudden became one of the premier baseball leagues in the world because
they still have the rights to that.
ESPN, I think ESPN technically does. So here's the thing. I'll peel back a bit of an onion here for people who may not know. So when ESPN signs a TV deal with any sport, we'll stick with the baseball example here because it's easy. They say in the contract, it's out of the 7-day week, each day you have to hit 5 hours of baseball coverage, something like that. Obviously, ESPN doesn't do that with baseball. They don't really touch it compared to the other sports, but you have to hit 5 hours, at minimum 5 hours of coverage a day of baseball, whether it's live games or programming like when they had Baseball Tonight or something like that, right? So during the pandemic, the ESPN still have to meet those obligations in your contract no matter what. Obviously, it helps in the pandemic. You have blocking available where you can put the KBO on TV. So ESPN and KBO worked out a deal because I can't remember. It has to do with, I believe it's like the World Baseball and Softball Coalition or something. They were able to work out the deal through them, which is owned by the MLB technically or whatever. Right? Where, 2 KBO games. I think it was up to 2 at one point live simultaneously on ESPN and the Deuce. But, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, that's why now ESPN, I think, still owns the rights. I think it's like, I don't know if it's still on ESPN Plus this season or what, but they did last year. So it's possible we might see some KBO again. Might see, I mean, the Pacific League and the Pacific and Central Leagues in Japan, it's going to be tough. The Mexican League you probably won't see because it's technically a AAA affiliate. Something that many people don't know about. Technically, the Mexican League is a AAA affiliate for the MLB, but it's its own really professional organization. It's more or less like a laissez-faire type deal. So who knows? Who knows what we'll see this year in that sense? But that's how ESPN has KBO on TV and stuff like that. Sorry to get off track. Yeah,
but. Yeah, it's just, this would be terrible if they did not come up with a deal and this opening day got not so much pushed back a week or two, which is kind of getting to be expected now. But if it got pushed back to the middle of May, that's not good. That's not good. And then it could just keep getting worse and worse after that. So
that's why I've been saying from the jump, just be ready for 120 games, like at most, this year.
Now they're trying to come up with a deal for years, right?
Right.
So where it goes back to 162 probably next year.
Right. I'd like them to go 154, but that'll probably be the expanded playoff that people don't want. I don't know.
Would you want that?
Not the way it's set up, allegedly, no.
I don't like the picking.
No, I don't like that either.
That's so weird.
I'm all for having a reseed if that's what you want to do, but don't allow the teams to pick who they get to play.
No.
It's
just how
right.
It's just how the dominoes fall sometimes.
Right.
You don't get the team you want to face just because of how it worked out in the regular season. No, none of this picking. I do not want that. None of that. That's all I got to say on that.
I'm with you. I think that's enough said for today anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Sure, keep an eye out for where we'll be coverage-wise the rest of the week on FL1. Keep tabs on Nick and what he's doing. Nick, who are you shouting out today?
I'm going to shout out my pops.
Oh, that's right. Happy belated birthday to Mr. Felice. I forgot.
It was his birthday yesterday.
35, right?
Yeah, 35. Yep, he had me when he was, how old am I?
He had you when he was like 8.
8 or 9, yep. That's pretty cool about him to do that for me. But, yeah, shout out, Dad. Hope you're doing well. Probably sleeping right now, but I'll see you tomorrow. And take care. Shout out.
If you guys haven't already, like always, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Help us out. And we will catch everybody in 2 weeks. We'll be off next week. 2 weeks. Fresh shakes. Okay, bye.